सीटीबीटी फाइनल एक्जामिनेसन 2078 सालको फिजिक्सको क्वेसन पेपरहरू। स्वागत छ यस च्यानलको नयाँ भिडियोमा। यदि नयाँ हुनुहुन्छ भने प्लिज सब्सक्राइब दिस च्यानल। र म रुपेश चौधरी आज भन्न गइरहेको छु सीटीबीटी फर्स्ट इयरको फिजिक्स क्वेसन पेपर इन दिस भिडियो 2078 फर एक्जामिनेसन। थ्याङ्क यू। Elastic collation. Elastic collation. The collation in which the total linear momentum and the total kinetic energy is conserved is called elastic collation. That is m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. In elastic collation, the collation in which the total linear momentum is conserved but total kinetic energy is not, which is called inelastic collision. That is m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. हेलो एभ्रिवान, म रुपेश चौधरी र आज यस भिडियोमा भन्ने छु फिजिक्सको मोस्ट रिपिटेड क्वेसन र भिभिआई क्वेसन जुन फाइनल एक्जामिनेसनमा रिपिटेड भइराखेको हुन्छ। सो यही हो क्वेसन जुन फाइनल एक्जाममा आइराखेको हो। सो प्लिज यस भिडियोलाई अन्त्यसम्म हेर्नु होला। नेम एनी टू फिजिकल क्वान्टिटी हैव अ सेम डाइमेन्सन. The two physical quantity with a same dimensional formula, that is point number 1 work and torque, and point number 2 stretch and pressure. So point number 1 work and torque, that is ml square per t square. Point number B stretch and pressure, that is m per l t square. m per l t square. Can a physical quantity have a unit but no dimensional formula? Explain. Yes, a physical quantity have a unit but no dimensional formula. We have an example of angle whose unit is degree or radian but no dimensional formula. From this example, we can show that physical quantity may have unit but no dimensional formula. Define stretch and strain. So the stretch is defined as the restoring force per unit area set up in the body when deformed by external force. Thus stretch is equal to restoring force per area. The stretch is defined as the restoring force per unit area set up in the body when deformed by external force. Strain is defined as the ratio of change in dimension of the body to the original dimension is called strain. Why can you get more sharp burn from steam at 100 degrees Celsius than from water at 100 degrees Celsius? Answer. 1 gram of steam at 100 degrees Celsius has more quality of heat due to the latent heat, that is 540 cal per gram, and give more heat to the body at lower temperature when brought in contact. The magnetic line of a force do not intersect to each other. Why? The magnetic line of a force do not intersect to each other. Why? Answer. A tangent drawn in a magnetic line of a force give the direction of magnetic field of that magnet. If two magnetic lines of force cross each other, there are two directions of magnetic field of a bar magnetic. Which of magnetic field of a bar magnetic, which is impossible. Hence the magnetic line of a force do not intersect to each other. What do you mean by binding energy? What do you mean by binding energy? The energy equivalent to the mass defect is known as the bending energy of the nucleus. The bending energy of the nucleus may be defined as the amount of work required to separate the nucleon any infinite distance apart. Bending energy is equal to delta m into 931 in MeV. Define mass defect. Define mass defect. The difference between the rest mass of the nucleus and the sum of the masses of the nucleus constituting it is known as mass defect. It is denoted by delta m. If m is the mass of the nucleus, then mass defect delta m is equal to big bracket ZMP plus small bracket a minus z close bracket small bracket mn big bracket minus m, equation number 1. So Critical angle. Critical angle. The angle of incident in the denser medium from which angle of reflection be 90 degree is called critical angle. Critical angle. The angle of incident in the denser medium from which angle of reflection be 90 degree is called critical angle. That is the figure of critical angle. So you can draw this figure. Total internal reflection. Total internal reflection. When the angle of incident in the denser medium is greater than the critical angle, then the reflected light ray return into the same medium and obey the law of reflection. This phenomenon is known as total internal reflection. Define nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. So nuclear fission. When two light nuclei fuse together to form a heavy nucleus with the liberation of energy, the process is called nuclear fusion. When two light nuclei fuse together to form a heavy nucleus with the liberation of energy, the process is called nuclear fission. Nuclear fission, the process of splitting of a heavy nucleus into a nuclei of nuclear comparable mass with the liberation of energy is called nuclear fission. Define resistivity. Define resistivity. The ratio of the electric field applied to the current density. It is denoted by rho. Resistivity is equal to strain of the electric field per current density. Define resistance. Resistance of a conductor is defined as the property by the virtue of which a resistor opposes the flow of electric current through the circuit. Define EMF. Define EMF, electromotive force. Define electromotive force, EMF. The potential difference between the two poles of the cell in any open circuit when no current is drawn from the cell is called the electromotive force of the cell. X-ray production is also called inverse of photoelectric effect. Why? X-ray production is also called inverse of photoelectric effect. Why? In photoelectric effect, radiation is incident on a metal surface to eject out the electron, whereas in X-ray production, electrons are impinged on the metal surface to eject out the radiation. Which one is more dangerous, AC or DC? Why? Coefficient of real expansion. Coefficient of real expansion. It is defined as the real increase in volume of the liquid per unit volume for 1 degree Celsius rise in temperature. It is denoted by gamma R. Therefore, gamma R is equal to real increase in volume per original volume into rise in temperature. Coefficient of apparent expansion. It is defined as the apparent increase in volume of the liquid per unit of the liquid for 1 degree Celsius rise in temperature. It is denoted by gamma A, gamma alpha. Therefore, gamma alpha is equal to apparent increase in volume per original volume into rise in temperature. Coefficient of superficial expansion. Coefficient of superficial expansion. So, answer. Coefficient of superficial expansion of a solid may be defined as increase in surface area at 0 degree Celsius for every degree Celsius rise in temperature. Coefficient of linear expansion. Coefficient of linear expansion. So, answer. Coefficient of linear expansion of a solid may be defined as the increase in length per unit length at 0 degree Celsius for every degree Celsius rise in temperature. Coefficient of linear expansion of a solid may be defined as the increase in length per unit length at 0 degree Celsius for every degree Celsius rise in temperature. Which one is more dangerous, AC or DC? Why? Which one is more dangerous, AC or DC? Why? The direct current has a constant magnitude of current in the circuit, whereas the magnitude of current varies in AC. Suppose the 220 volt DC mean the value of is constant, over time. However, 220 volt AC mean it is RMS value. In such condition, the fluctuate from 0 volt to 220 root 2 is equal to 311 volt. Alternative current is more dangerous than direct current. Hence, the AC provides the greater shock from the same magnitude of DC. Principle of conservation of linear momentum. Principle of conservation of linear momentum. So answer. It states that if no external force acts on a system, the total linear momentum of a system remains constant. It states that if no external force acts on a system, the total linear momentum of a system remains constant. So consider a two body of a mass m1 and m2 and initial velocity u1 and u2 collide for time t and its velocity change to v1 and v2 respectively. Let f1 and f2 be the force on first and second body respectively. Let f1 and f2 be the force on first and second body respectively. Then f1 is equal to m1 v1 minus m1 u1 by t. So F2 is equal to m2 v2 minus m2 u2 by t. F2 is equal to m2 v2 minus m2 u2 by t by using Newton's third law of motion. So vector first and vector second. Vector first is equal to vector second. So crossing there tt. So answer is proved. What is angle of dip and inclination? What is angle of dip and inclination? It is defined as the angle made by Earth's magnetic intensity with horizontal axis. When a magnetic needle is placed horizontally free, the angle made by it with horizontal axis is known as angle of dip. It is denoted by delta. The value of angle of dip can be measured by dip center in left. Its value place to place. Angle of dip is 90 degree at pole. Angle of dip is 0 degree at equator. How does the value of g vary due to the effect of height earth? How does the value of g vary due to the effect of height earth? This is the variation of g. So figure of variation of g. So consider any earth of radius r and mass m. We have to find the acceleration due to gravity at the height h. The acceleration due to the gravity at the surface of earth g is equal to gm by r square. Equation number 1. The acceleration due to gravity at point P and height h. So g dash is equal to gm by r plus h whole square. So equation number 2. So combining both equation 1 and equation 2. So you can calculate this equation. So answer is proved now. Define gravity. Define gravity. How does the value of g is vary effect of depth earth? So what is gravity? Gravity is the force of gravitation with which the earth attracts other body around it is called gravity. So how does the value of g is vary effect of depth earth? So this is the variation of g, figure of variation of g. So consider any earth of radius r and density delta. We have to find the acceleration due to gravity at point P and depth h. So the acceleration due to gravity at the surface of earth g is equal to gm by r square. So is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube delta by r square. So 4 by 3 pi g delta r equation number 1. Similarly, acceleration due to gravity at depth h is g dash is equal to 4 by 3 pi g delta r minus h whole. So calculation each other combining their both equation. So calculate. So prove now. Law of conservation of energy. Law of conservation of energy. So answer. It states that the total energy of universe allied remain constant, but we can change one form to another form of energy. It states that the total energy of universe allied remains constant, but we can change one form to another form of energy. So another answer of law of conservation of energy. another answer of law of conservation of energy. This is the another answer. So, principle of conservation of energy. It states that the energy can be neither be created nor can be destroyed, but can only be converted from one form to another. It states that the energy can be neither be created nor can be destroyed, but can only be converted from one form to another form. So, purification of conservation of energy. Purification of conservation of energy. This is the figure of conservation of energy. So, consider a body of a mass m and point A at a height h where it is dropped after moving x distance to B. Its velocity become u, then finally at point C on the ground its velocity u. So, at point A, Pe is equal to mgh. So, you can calculate this. At all the 3 points, the total energy of the body is man, so it's proved law of conservation of energy. What is photoelectric effect? What is photoelectric effect? Often is an photoelectric equation. So, answer. The emission of electron from a metallic surface when radiation of suitable frequency fall upon it is called photoelectric effect. The electron emitted are called photoelectron. According to Stern's law of photoelectric effect, above the threshold frequency, the total energy of a photon divided into two parts. A part of the energy equal to the weight function of a metal free the electron, while the other part give kinetic energy of the electron. That is, electron is equal to theta 0 plus 1 by 2 mv square, where theta is the work function of a metal, m is the mass of electron, v is the velocity of electron. When a photon of energy hf is absorbed by an electron, an amount of energy at least equal to theta provided hf greater theta is used of in laboratory. The electron free and the difference hf minus theta is available to electron as its maximum kinetic energy. Thus, 1 by 2 mv square mass is equal to hf minus theta. Electron is equal to theta plus 1 by 2 mv square mass. Incident energy is equal to work function plus kinetic energy. Maximum hf is equal to theta plus 1 by 2 mv square mass. That is equation number 1. Here m is the mass of electron and v mass is maximum velocity of photoelectron. If f is the frequency which corresponds to threshold energy of the metal is called threshold frequency, then theta is equal to hf. Therefore, hf is equal to hf plus 1 by 2 mv square mass from equation number 1. So, we have hc by gamma minus hc by gamma degree is equal to mv square mass. hc is equal to bracket 1 by gamma minus 1 by gamma degree is equal to 1 by 2 mv square mass. This relation is called Stern photoelectric equation. Galvanometer converted into ammeter. Galvanometer converted into ammeter. So, answer. Ammeter is an instrument used for measuring current in electric circuit. A galvanometer is a low resistance instrument. Even when a small current is passed through the galvanometer, it produces full scale deflection. That is the figure. So, you can draw this figure because this is the necessary for showing. So, let's G be the resistance of the coil of the galvanometer. Since the coil of the galvanometer and the shunt are connected across the same 2 points, PD across shunt is equal to PD across the coil. So, symbol that is I minus Ig into S is equal to Ig into G. That is S is equal to Ig by I minus Ig into G. Knowing the value of Ig dash I and G, the value of S can be calculated. So, galvanometer converted into voltmeter. Galvanometer converted into voltmeter. Voltmeter is an instrument used for measuring potential difference across the two ends of a current carrying conductor. That is the figure of galvanometer converted into voltmeter. So you can show this figure in this answer. So if G is the resistance of galvanometer, then from figure V is equal to Ig, G plus Ig, R is equal to Ig, bracket G plus R. So Ig is equal to V minus G plus R. So last one, that is R is equal to V by Ig minus G. Knowing V dash Ig and G, the value of R can be found when the resistance of this value is connected in a series to the galvanometer. It will work as a volt of range 0 to V volt. State and explain Faraday law of electromagnetic induction. State and explain Faraday law of electromagnetic induction. Answer. The magnetic flux link in a surface is defined as the number of magnetic line of force crossing the surface normally. It is denoted by 0 cross. Its unit is Weber, WB. It is a scalar quantity. The magnetic flux is quantitatively determined from the scalar product of magnetic field intensity vector B and surface area vector A, that is 0 cross is equal to B vector into A vector. So 0 cross is equal to BA cos theta. When a magnetic flux is changed in a coil, any electromotive force is induced across its two ends. Hence, the current can follow through the coil. Michael Faraday derived the relation of induced electromotive force and magnetic flux change after the long series of experiments. This law of Faraday regarding the electromagnetic induction is called Faraday law of electromagnetic induction. Faraday law of electromagnetic induction are stated below. Any electromotive force is induced across a circuit wherever magnetic flux link is changed in it, and it lasts so long as the magnetic flux is changing. Point number 2. The magnitude of induced electromotive force is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux link with the circuit. Let E be the induced electromotive force whenever the change of magnetic flux link is d0 cross at the time dt in a circuit. Then from Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, E inversely d0 cross by dt, E is equal to minus k d0 cross by dt, where k is proportionality constant and the negative sign is the equation indicate that the induced electromotive force always oppose the change of magnetic flux linked. Where k is proportionality constant and the negative sign in the equation indicate the induced electromotive force always oppose the change of magnetic flux link. In SI unit, k is taken as unity, that is k is equal to 1. Then we have E is equal to minus d 0 cross by dt. For a coil having n number of turns, total electromotive force is E is equal to minus n d 0 cross by dt. Then the induced current I is equal to E by R. So I is equal to minus 1 by R, bracket n d 0 cross by dt. So prove it. Define Young modulus of elasticity. Define Young modulus of elasticity. It is defined as the ratio of normal stress to the longitudinal strain. So it is denoted by Y. Y is equal to normal stress per longitudinal strain. So energy stored in stretch wire. Energy stored in stretch wire. So answer. Consider a wire of a length L and area of cross section A is extended by a force F. If X is extension mode in the wire, then you can use this formula. So Young modulus of elasticity, Y is equal to stress by strain. So stress is equal to force per area. So strain is equal to X per L. So you can
calculate this, and F is equal to YA X per YL. So next formula, then work done in extending wire, W is equal to F dash dx. So W is equal to integrate YA X per YL into dx. So calculate this formula. So next formula, energy store, E is equal to W, and W is equal to 1 by 2 F into X. So next formula, energy density, U is equal to E by volume. Energy density U is equal to E by volume. So calculate this formula. So last one, and 1 by 2 stress into strain. This is the result of this formula. So prove that. What is magnetic field intensity? What is magnetic field intensity? It is defined as the force experimented by a unit north pole placed at that point. Magnetic field intensity of a bar magnet can be measured at any point around the magnet. So, magnetic intensity due to a bar magnet at axial line and in on position. This is the figure. So, you can draw this figure. So, figure magnetic intensity due to a bar magnet at axial line. So, axial line is the line drawn between north and south pole of a bar magnet, which divided the magnet into two parts. The two find the magnetic intensity due to a bar magnet at point in axial line. So let's consider a bar magnet of a length 2L. Consider a bar magnet of length 2L, pole strain m, and magnetic moment m. Let P be any point at distance d from the center of magnet. Place a unit north at point P. So magnetic intensity at point due to the north pole of a bar magnet is this formula you can use here. So similarly, the magnetic intensity at P due to the south pole of a bar magnet is, you can use this formula. So resultant magnetic intensity at P due to a bar magnet will be, so B is equal to Bs minus Bn. You can use this formula. So minus this formula. So cross each other their formula. Calculate this formula. So for very short magnet like atomic magnet, D greater than 1, so B is equal to mut 0 by 4 pi 2m by ds cube. So this give the requirement expression of magnetic intensity due to a bar magnet at axial line. So complete this formula and prove it. So magnetic intensity due to a bar magnetic at equatorial line. Magnetic intensity due to a bar magnetic at equatorial line. Draw this figure. So figure magnetic intensity due to a bar magnetic at equatorial line. So this is the figure of equatorial line. So equatorial line is a perpendicular drawn at any axial line which beside the magnet into two equal parts. Equatorial line is a perpendicular drawn on axial line which beside the magnet into two equal parts. To find the magnetic intensity due to a bar magnet at point in equatorial line, consider a bar magnet of a length 2L, pole strain m and magnetic moment m. Let P be any point at axial. Let P be any point at a distance d from the center of the magnet. Join Ps, Pn and Po. Place a unit north pole at point P. Magnetic intensity due to the south pole of the magnet is, you can use this formula. So similarly, magnetic intensity due to the north pole of the magnet is given by, you can use this formula. So to find the resultant magnetic, complete a parallelogram PQRT, then the diagonal PR will represent the resultant magnetic intensity B, as B1 is equal to Bs in magnitude, the resultant intensity beside the angle between them. So theta B is theta B the angle made by B with B1 and Bs. So calculate this formula and you can use this formula. So calculate it. This gives the requirement expression of magnetic intensity due to a bar magnet at point in equatorial line. So complete this formula and prove it. Derive concave mirror. For concave mirror or derive concave mirror, so you can draw this figure because this is the concave mirror. So you can draw this figure. Let us consider a point object is placed at point O as a principal axis of a concave mirror of a small aperture m1 and m2 respectively. Then a real image is formed at point I is the axis of principal is shown in a figure. So CK is normal such that OKC is incident. So OKC is incident and CKI is reflected. CKI is reflected. So OKC is equal to CKI. So sin CK is internal bisector of OKI. So it is divided base in externally in the ratio of its adjacent side. That is OK by KI is equal to OC by CI. So OK by KI is equal to OC is equal to OP minus CP. So you can use this value. So CI is equal to CP minus IP. So you if the aperture of the mirror is very small and point K is very close to P, then OK inversely OP and KI is equal to IP is equation number 3. From equation number 1 and equation number 2 we have OP by IP is equal to OP minus CP by CP minus IP. So using convention rule, we have OP is equal to plus CP, CP is equal to plus R and IP is equal to plus V. So substituting this value is equation number 3. So we have this formula is necessary for this calculation. So U by V is equal to U minus R by R minus V. So dividing both sides. So calculate it. UR minus UV is equal to UV minus VR. So cross each other and last one. This is calculate this formula. So answer is here. 1 by f is equal to 2 by r. So 2 by r is equal to 1 by f. So calculate this formula and prove it. Derive any expression for decay equation. So decay law. It states that the rate of disintegration at a time is directly proportional with the initial number of atoms in sample. It states that the rate of disintegration at a time is directly proportional with the initial number of atoms in sample. dn by dt alpha n. dn by dt is equal to minus delta n, equation number 1. So where delta is the proportionality constant known as decay constant and the negative sign, so the number of parent atom decrease with the time. The above equation can be written as dn by dt is equal to minus delta dt. Integrating equation we get as integration dn by d is calculate this. You can use this formula and integration calculate this. So prove it. So equation number 1, prove that equation. So this equation is known as decay equation. If a graph is drawn between time t and the number of remaining above atom. This equation is known as decay equation. If a graph is drawn between time t and the number of remaining atom n, a curve as in figure below is obtained. The curve is asymptotic to the time axis. Archimedes principle. Archimedes principle. When a body is wholly or partially immersed in a liquid, an upthrust equal to the weight of displacement liquid act on it. Verification of Archimedes principle. Verification of Archimedes principle. Figure of Archimedes principle. So this is the jar A and this is the jar B. So this is the liquid or water, and this is the stone, and this is the spring, and this is the balancing water. So let us consider a body weight which is measured in air with the help of spring balance, that is the spring. So this is the stone. So let B W it be W. Now a body is immersed in a liquid or water in a jar A. This is the jar A. So the weight of the body in water is WB. The water displaced by the body is overflow into the jar B. So overflow. This is the jar A. So overflow the water from B. So keep on measuring pan. The weight of a space liquid is W. It is found that W is equal to W1 minus W2. So is equal to upthrust. So weight of displacement liquid is equal to upthrust. Hence Archimedes principle is verified. आशा छ मलाई यो च्यानल सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनुहुन्छ भनेर. थ्याङ्क यू फर वाचिङ दिस भिडियो. थ्याङ्क यू.